Here with us now, LEROY CHIAO, retired NASA astronaut and International Space Station commander. LEROY, good morning. Great to see you again.
Hi, good morning.
So what needs to go right to ensure Butch Wilmore and Sunny Williams actually come back home next week?
Well, this is something, of course, SpaceX has done many times, launch a Falcon 9 rocket with a Dragon capsule on top to go to the International Space Station. So I expect everything to go perfectly well. It takes a little bit of time to get things prepared so that they can launch. And so that's going to happen, as you said, on about, 12 days or so. And they'll be back here on Earth very soon. So I know they're looking forward to coming back home. Their 8-day mission, as you pointed out, has now lasted nearly 9 months. And that's even a stretch, even for a long duration flight, which is usually about 6 months.
Can we talk about that? Because this has been a story that we've been covering since the first delay. That was back in June. Here we are, 9 months later, Butch and Sunny still up in space. I'm shocked, but you and other experts in the aerospace community say it's not that big of a deal. This is what they're training for. But when you go into space, are you really prepared to be there indefinitely?
Well, astronauts, we are trained to adapt to the situation. And so, Butch and Sunny are consummate professionals. They've done exactly that. They've both flown long duration missions before, of 6-ish months. And so they know the routine, they know what to do, and they've stepped up and they've done it spectacularly now. But, obviously it was a big disruption to their personal and perhaps professional plans. 8-day flight turning into 9 months. Certainly affected their families, and I know they're looking forward to coming home.
What challenges will they face when they stop defying gravity and do come home?
Well, even after a short shuttle mission of 1 or 2 weeks back in the day, you come back, and even after that short stay in space, your body's kind of started to adapt to it. So after a long mission, it's even more adapted to the environment. So you're going to be very dizzy, first of all, when you come down. You're going to feel weak. You're going to have trouble. Your body's forgotten how to stand up without fainting, if you will. The blood vessels in your legs don't constrict like they used to. It takes a little bit of time for your body to kind of figure that out again. You may have lost some bone mass, may have lost some muscle mass, although we have good exercise equipment on board, which helps to mitigate that. But it'll take them a few weeks to kind of feel like they're back to normal. But this is all part of the readaptation to gravity.
So, LEROY, this was a week when we saw back-to-back launches of the SpaceX Starship end in failure. One test flight exploded on Thursday. It rained debris over the Caribbean. Musk is calling this a minor setback for SpaceX. But how serious are these explosions?
Well, these are flight tests. You have to keep in mind these are flight tests. This is the 8th flight test of the Starship system. The booster came back, looked like it had a perfect flight. And keep in mind also, these are the largest rockets ever launched by anyone, any country, anyone. And they came back and caught it, proving for the 3rd time that they can actually catch these things and refurbish and reuse them. Now, the fact that the Starship broke up, it's a development vehicle. Think of it as a super space shuttle. It's going to be much more capable than the space shuttle was. It'll be able to leave low Earth orbit. And the fact that it broke up, yeah, it is a shame. But they're going to learn from this, and every flight they learn from, they're going to make the next one better. So this is how you do things quickly. You break stuff. As Elon correctly said, you break stuff, test, break it, figure out what's wrong, fix it, and test it again. Rather than just kind of spend years doing detailed engineering analyses. You go out and try it and fix what breaks.
I do want to know about the environmental impacts, though. SpaceX says the debris is not toxic, but how could these explosions impact our environment?
Sure, and he's right. They're not toxic. I mean, these, when something comes in the atmosphere, things come in our atmosphere every day. They're meteors, they're things like that. Most of the stuff burns up in the atmosphere, as you see most of the pieces of the Starship burning up there. If it's a big enough structure, some pieces of it will make it down. But I mean, that's all planned into the trajectory of the launches and things like that. That's why you have to get an FAA launch license. They look at where your vehicle is going to go and where debris may rain down if there's a failure. And so this is all expected. I mean, not expected to have the failure, but the fact that the debris, some of it probably survived entry. It's well away from established shipping and air traffic routes. And as a precaution, you saw the FAA shut down some of the air traffic routes temporarily just to be extra safe. But this is, yeah, it's a shame, but it's not too big of a deal for them.
As we know, a number of airports were under ground stops on Thursday as a result of the spacecraft debris. Could these explosions impact safety in the air moving forward, Leroy?
Well, no, as I was saying, the FAA takes all this into account that you might have a mishap and your vehicle might break up and debris might rain down. And so they did issue those ground stops just as an extra safety measure, just to make sure, they gave the debris enough time to come down and not impact anything like air traffic and even shipping for that matter. There's ships out there too.
Leroy, I always enjoy our conversation. Thanks for coming on and talking about this, Leroy Chiao. We appreciate it.